Always got to clear your throat, right?
Yeah.
Alright. What's going on, guys? I'm here with another video today. This time it's going to be something a bit different and exciting because my friend and I here, introduce yourself.
Well, hello there, YouTube. You know me, Squall Lionheart, one responsible for all those Star Wars demolition videos.
And we're going to be reviewing and discussing the new Battlefront. Most of it's going to be based on the trailer or any info that we already know that has been told from the live stream. I personally have not watched the whole Battlefront live stream. I've only really seen the gameplay trailer and some bits and pieces of info. So yeah, first thing that we just want to say is, guys, this looks absolutely amazing.
It really does, considering the fact that it's been 10 years since Battlefront 2 was released, and you look at the huge, like, not even just gameplay modes, we didn't really get any, but the graphical improvement that's been happening. Like, really, you just take Battlefront 2 and you put it up against this, and you're like, wow, what happened here?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it just blows my mind. I mean, I was watching this at school today. I had a whole group of friends with me to watch it, and so we were all freaking out. It was ridiculous, and just like an hour ago or so, I went to pre-order it. I fully paid out the deluxe version of the game already for the Xbox One.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yeah, I'm so excited. Plus, it comes out on the Xbox One first. I mean, what do you guys think about that, personally?
Well, I can tell you for me, since I have access to a PS4, I'm actually really thinking about getting it for PC, mainly because I can always keep upgrading that with new machinery and whatnot. And I also realized that a bit that, kind of like Grand Theft Auto 5, most everyone now is going to be migrating to PC because it's quoted as the master series of gaming consoles now. The only problem is that it's going to take up a whole lot of space on your hard drive, because whenever, like, I guarantee you, if they do release it for the PC, it's going to be in such limited quantities to get it physically. You're going to have to digitally download it. It's going to cause a whole bunch of... It's probably going to be like maybe 60 or up to probably maybe 70 gigabytes. Because I saw on Steam GTA 5 was like 50 gigs, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes up a whole lot of stuff in your hard drive, so you have to have a really good hard drive. And the fact is that when you see this game, you're thinking you have to get all the right hardware specs and whatnot. So it's like you have to keep upgrading, but it makes it all worth it in the end because you can just plug a controller in and you can play it with a controller. And we'll just, do that.
Yeah, I was actually, I pre-ordered the game from GameStop, and they said that they didn't even have any more PC versions of it.
Oh my god.
Sorry if you guys heard that, my bad. So, first let's just start off with a couple of general questions. I'll start off with, what's the biggest thing that you saw in the trailer so far?
The biggest thing I saw really, besides the huge graphical improvement, I actually kind of saw how, like, Endor looked so much more alive and whatnot, and the battle between the Empire and the Rebellion, and you actually could see, like, what the Rebels had to offer, not just, like, you know, sitting there being cannon fodder for Luke and riding the speed, like, because everyone remembers Episode 6, Battle of Endor. Mainly it was about the speed bike chase, and Han Solo was the main he was the commander for the Battle of Endor and whatnot, and everyone barely remembers the Rebel soldiers in that one. And you look at this and you're thinking, wow, these guys are actually good. They could be good enough to be elite commandos. And then you look at this, and then you look at the stormtroopers as well, and you're just thinking, good. And you're just thinking, wow, that's awesome. And then, of course, when Vader hit, that was good. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching over the trailer right now. Again, sorry that we can't show gameplay. EA's kind of iffy when it comes to
copyright issues, and we could get taken down for that. So I don't think any of us want to do that.
Yeah, but I will link the trailer down in the description so you guys can watch it, of course, while we're playing this video. But we will both have Battlefront 2 gameplay in the background, as you can see here.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things that really excited me was when the Rebels deployed that shield generator and that
Oh
guy
yeah.
with the jetpack shot the ATST with the rocket launcher. I mean, that just amazed me how amazing that looked. And then the AT-AT came in with the stormtroopers rushing in. Oh, I mean, the quality of and the explosions also just look amazing.
It really does. Like, it's amazing what 10 years can do to software and then I'm gonna say this: when it went through a whole bunch of the other planets that we had, like from what looked like, I'm guessing probably Tatooine. Of course, we don't know that now, thanks to Episode 7.
Oh yeah.
Hoth, and this one other. What was that world? That it looked like it had lava at the bottom, and I don't think it was Mustafar.
No, the 4 confirmed maps so far, I believe, are Endor, Hoth, Tatooine, and then Solus was that kind of lava-looking one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one where all the TIE fighters are coming out of the hangar, and then the Millennium Falcon shows up, and then it ends the trailer there. But
yeah,
it looks breathtaking, you know, and considering that there's all these different TIE fighters in the air, and then you've just got the Millennium Falcon, it's crazy how overwhelming it seems.
It really is. Well, also for any of those that have played Battlefront Elite Squadron, you'll know that. No, wait, it wasn't Elite Squadron. Rogue Squadron. Yeah, it's been a while since I played that PSP game. But yeah, the last mission of the game before you that was the end of the campaign. If memory serves, it was due to the it was in Solus at the time, but the graphics were kind of yeah. So it made Solus look something more like Yavin 4 a bit. It made Solus really look like Yavin 4, and when you're playing the game and you're thinking, why are we here? And then you just rewatch Episode 6 and you hear Vader mentioning Solus, and you're like, oh, that's where we went.
Yeah. So that's basically, you know, general concept. I mean, the graphics, of course, stunning. But what was the one thing from the trailer, if you had to choose something, that you were kind of disappointed about?
The one thing I really have to choose, honestly, is the fact that even though it showed the Millennium Falcon, the X-Wings, and the TIE Fighters coming out of the hangars of the Star Destroyers, their respective cruisers, it didn't look like any of those battles took place in space.
Yes.
And half of the thing about Star Wars is the awesome space battles. Like in episodes... Sorry if you guys hear that, that's my clock deciding to say it's 7 o'clock here. But the one thing I really just had to say is, I want a space battle. I want it to be confirmed that there are space battles in this game, because if not, then I'm still gonna get it. But it'll just make it feel like the original Star Wars Battlefront that I have on my PS2, where you could take control of the ships on land. No space battles, though.
Yeah, and that's, again, another thing that I'm really hoping that they have is space-to-ground maps. I've heard rumors that there might not be space battles, but I really hope that those aren't true, because, I mean, that would be a disappointment to me. That's the one thing that... well, there's two things that I was kind of disappointed that I didn't see in the trailer, was the Clone Wars era, especially.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I heard that it was confirmed that that's not going to launch with the game. It might come in like a DLC later on or something. But it's kind of disappointing that the Clone Wars won't launch with the game. And so far, only 4 maps are confirmed. Other than the DLC that will be coming out with the game for free. Jurak, I believe, is what it's called. It's the planet that's in the Force Awakens trailer. It's that desert planet that everyone thought was...
Tatooine.
Yeah. Oh, it's called Jakku. My bad. But yeah, that was pretty crazy, in my opinion, just to, you know, see that there weren't any space battles or Clone Wars.
No, and, like, you guys can hate me for whatever reason. I like the prequels. 3, in my opinion, is the strongest, and I really feel like they should have at least included a bit of 3 in there, because it ties into the original trilogy with Anakin becoming Vader. Yes, Hayden was not one of the best actors, but still, you can't deny that the Clone Wars were really an important piece in that galactic history timeline that's helped set up the Galactic Civil War.
Yeah, exactly. And You know, I loved episode 3. That one was one of my favorites, and it's kind of disappointing that we won't be seeing that on launch day, but hey, it could always come in a DLC. I'd love to see like Order 66 or something, you know, when you're on Coruscant or anything
Order 66,
like that.
Order 66, Operation Nightfall, and possibly if we can play as Jedi or heroes, I imagine we should be able to, because if not, then I don't. If not, then EA is probably really screwed up big time. If we do get to play as heroes, I would actually like to see Anakin versus Obi-Wan at that last point, because you've got, like I said, you've got Vader coming out right there, so...
Oh, yeah. So moving on, let's see. I've got several questions here. I just don't know which ones to ask, but,
I'll ask the next one.
Alright.
How do you think DICE will affect the Battlefront series as a whole?
See, now that's difficult because DICE and EA make Battlefield. I'm really hoping that they don't make it like Battlefield. You know, I want it to be the Battlefront, and it's already confirmed that it's going to be in first and third person. So that's great because that automatically makes me feel like it's going to be like the original Battlefront.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I think it will affect is sequels. I know it's really early to get into sequels, obviously, because the game hasn't even come out. But I really hope that they do not come out with a sequel every single year, like what they do with Battlefield or Call of Duty or anything like that.
I mean, look at the original Battlefront. That came out... I forgot the year, probably 2003, I imagine.
Yeah.
And then we waited 2 years to get Battlefront 2, and the thing is, what they did was that they had so many vast improvements to the system between those 2 years, unlike Battlefield, which you kind of feel, sometimes it feels like it's the same game rehashed over and over again with no real strategic improvements made. It's just, we're going to give you a graphic update. That's all it really basically is. My thing is also, yeah, I know you don't want to talk about sequels and what, but how many true games have a sequel nowadays? Everything comes out in DLC now.
And that's the one thing that I actually wouldn't mind seeing is maybe like a season pass, you know, $60 or something, but it comes out with like, I don't know, 6 or so DLCs over a span of 2 years or something, you know, and then they come out with another Battlefront game with just so much improved because The Force Awakens will be out, you know, by then, and then the spin-off and possibly episode 8, I believe.
Because episode 8, they actually said it was confirmed for June next year.
Yeah,
they said it was confirmed for June. I have not heard anything about it shooting. So that episode 8's up there in the cloud of dust right now.
Oh yeah, I mean,
The Force Awakens, when it comes out, that's going to be a major hit point, and DICE is probably going to, if they don't do this, they're going to lose a whole lot of money this way. But if they should, I know it's probably already been confirmed, they need to really add a real good campaign to it. Like, I know a whole lot of people want the campaign, because I remember watching the trailer on YouTube, and a lot of the comments that came with it actually said, no campaign. It looks like there's going to be no campaign, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching it, and I'm going, why are you not including a campaign? That's what makes a Battlefront game a Battlefront game.
Yeah, that was actually going to be one of my questions is, what's the one thing, one of the biggest things that you want from a new Battlefront, you know, would be a campaign, but it's been confirmed that there's going to be some tiny solo, co-op, or online missions that you can do with 2 people, but nothing like a real campaign, which is a bit disappointing, sadly. But you know, it's supposed to be mostly multiplayer, which is kind of like how Battlefront 2 was, because once you played the campaign, you know, you'd wait a while.
Yeah, and because I mean, one thing that made Battlefront 2 also, like after the campaign was done, and we all remember that last Hoth mission that was technically one of the hardest to beat.
Oh yeah.
I started going on multiplayer and split screen just for that game, just for that one purpose. And even though this game, even though it has some of it, little single player opportunities here, I'd actually kind of really like to play Battlefront, because I think DICE, the way it is, like there's 40 more people, even though it's less than Battlefront 2. I'd actually be able to like to do this, because it kind of makes the feeling of a sense that you are a part of this. You can make it your own real thing, even though you also are playing out the history of episodes 4 through 6, and possibly 7, depending on what happens with The Force Awakens.
Oh yeah. So that's about that little discussion there.
Yeah, I think we got a little off topic there.
So the next question that I could ask, do you think that, the gameplay is going to be cinematic heavy, with quick time events, or more focused on the actual gameplay? Like maybe there'll be cinematics before the match or something, and after, who knows?
I think, honestly, there may be some cinematics before. Like, say, if you were ever to do, if they include this, I doubt they will. Instant action. If you would like to say, let's make your own little thing right here. Take a series of maps and do this. My thing is, if they do that, I would like to see a little cinematic cutscene of, say, if it is in space, I'd love to see Star Destroyer come out of hyperspace, engage the rebels, and say if you chose the Imperial side at the start, it would show you already starting in a TIE fighter and you're trying to land into the rebel cruiser.
Oh yeah.
And my thing is also, if this is using DICE's engine for Battlefield, I'd also like to be able to see that. Say, remember how in Episode 6 where the A-Wing fighter crashed into the Star Destroyer's bridge?
Yeah. Sorry, I lost myself there. I was just.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'd like to see that be that could be like an in-game cinematic during that. You just see a little cinematic take right there as you're smashing through it. But after that, you'd respawn and go back to regular gameplay.
Oh yeah.
I would not like it, honestly, if it were to with quick time events and whatnot. I would not like that because in truth that'd just be like a real regular button mashing game when everyone knows Battlefront's not a button mashing game.
Oh no way. Now I would kind of like to see a little bit of cinematics, but it's just it's got to be focused around the gameplay, and that's what they're really going for. So that's got me really excited.
Oh yeah.
So moving on, do you think that they're well, let's see. Yeah, how do you think it's going to be balanced? Will there be classes like in the old Battlefront games, like you can be a gunner, a rocketeer, or anything like that? Or do you think they're going to take the perks route and let the player decide what the loadouts will be?
Well, I think, everyone nowadays, like I even got Mortal Kombat 10, or X, depending on how you want to call it, I got it, and a lot of things they have, like when you choose a character, like say you choose Scorpion, you can choose 3 sets for it. And I'm thinking if they do that, if DICE were to follow that realm, I think they would have classes set up to where, like say if you wanted to be a Stormtrooper, you could pick the Stormtrooper character, and then it would come out as saying, do you want to be a regular Stormtrooper, Heavy Trooper, Jet Trooper, or in this case, Dark Trooper.
Yeah.
Or and then you could pick another one that says, do you want to be an Imperial Engineer or whatever. I'd like to see that, because if it's going to just do the perks thing and let the player decide, you could actually break the game that way. I've seen many times when people do that, they'll try to do something fun. They'll think it's fun and whatnot, and then the next thing I know, they broke the game by doing it because they just overpowered themselves.
Oh yeah. See, now again, considering that it's made by DICE and EA and all that, since they make Battlefield, that's how they do the custom classes there. Or it could be like Call of Duty, which is basically the same thing for Battlefield and Call of Duty in the custom class terms. I'm really hoping that they don't do that though. I would love to see the original class loadouts, like in Battlefront 1 and 2.
Like Stormtrooper, Dark Trooper,
yeah,
Heavy Trooper, all that.
And then I'd like to kind of see the point system return, where you had to get a certain amount of points to get the better troops,
Yeah, like in both the campaign. No, wait, not the campaign. Instant Action and Galactic Conquest.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that Galactic Conquest sadly is not returning. At least they haven't announced it for now. But that would also be absolutely amazing to see.
Yeah, that was one thing I really wanted to find and see because I know a whole lot of people don't like it, but I've seen people that don't like Galactic Conquest. Galactic Conquest provides you fun when you're done with the campaign, and it gives you like little mini alternate endings. Like, say, if you were to choose the Republic over, and they'd face the Confederacy, and you'd win Galactic Conquest, you know that ending, and same with the Confederacy. If you were to choose the Confederacy and whatnot, and they just provide you with this fun little board game, while you choose what you want to do, and then you go fight it out like a regular Battlefront game.
Yeah, and then
I like Galactic Conquest and Battlefront 2 better than Battlefront 1. Battlefront 1 was
yeah, Battlefront 1, at first I didn't understand it when I was first playing the Galactic Conquest on there, but then I, kind of got used to it. And plus, the one thing that I personally never got to try was online Galactic Conquest on Battlefront 2.
Neither did I, because I had the old Xbox. I had on the original Xbox. I did not have an Xbox Live membership until the day it ran out.
Oh,
So,
man.
nowadays that the Xbox One, like the original Xbox, doesn't have Live anymore. So
Yeah.
every time, and the thing is, I actually have an Ethernet cable set up to it, so it's just sitting there gathering dust. So it's
But yeah, so Galactic Conquest not returning so far that we know of. I'd really love to do that online, fight head to head on who can rule the galaxy first, as they would say.
and I'd like to see planets get added to it.
Oh, yeah.
Galactic Conquest. I'd like to see it somewhat like the board game, like it was Battlefront 2, but I'd also like to see more choices. Like, say, when you're say if you're the Republic, you start in Coruscant, and it actually shows you in the core world. It's not like some random place in the galaxy. Coruscant's in the core world, and then you can choose to spread out the outer rim, or even in this case, the unknown regions.
Go
to Malachor 5.
so many things that could be done, but I'm just really hoping that EA does that,
Well, they gave us the Old Republic, so I'm not holding my breath until that.
Oh yeah, Old Republic. I don't want to get into that. That's a touchy subject to me. But moving on to the next question is heroes. So we know that heroes are somehow going to be implemented. How do you think they will be implemented?
Part of it's going to be they're going to use Battlefront 2 system a bit. If you want to have a whole hero for all, like they did in Instant Action, I imagine that's going to be it. Because that was what really excited a whole bunch of people. But I think heroes will be added in when you say if you were to get a certain amount of points or wait a certain amount of time and whatnot, you could have the chance to play as that hero. Like, say, if you were a stormtrooper, you killed so many people, and therefore you got a total amount of like however many kills for points or whatnot. You could play as Darth Vader a bit.
Oh yeah.
But then you could not go anywhere. Like that stormtrooper would stay on the field, and then your character, like you yourself, would be transported back to, like, say, a Star Destroyer. You'd have to travel down to the planet to be Vader.
And that would be really awesome too, is if they were to have escorts. Another part of this question was, do you have a feeling like they would be overpowered, or if they're underpowered, do you think they would need the support of the rest of the team in order to stay alive?
I remember playing Empire at War, and everyone always thought that Vader was going to be the strongest of it. You don't send him alone. Because he can literally, it's kind of like Order 66. Jedi can get overpowered by guns, by the blasters and whatnot. There are just so many at one time, they can't deflect everything. And I honestly really think that if you were to, in this game, if you could play as a hero, you'd honestly probably need a whole bunch of other troops with you because you could easily get overpowered.
Yeah, and it would be really awesome to see like kind of an escort system, because in Battlefront 2 and I think Battlefront 1, you could tell people to follow you, and I really hope that would be kind of cool to see, having, the stormtroopers go ahead of you as your Darth Vader, and you're just kind of, whether taking cover or just running straight out there. If you're crazy like that, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
Here's my thing. Another thing on the heroes. I don't want there to be a time limit like there was in Battlefront 2. I want it to be where you have a set health bar and whatnot, and that goes until Vader's done. Like
Oh yeah.
you don't get to play as him again, though. That's the real thing. Like, say if you could play as him again, that'd be awesome. But if Vader's health would go all the way down instead of a timer, I'd really like it to where once you use it, I'd like for it to be like if you had a hero, you'd want to use him as last resort in case you needed to, say, take a base or probably want to capture a Wampa or whatever. You'd want to use Vader as a last resort.
Oh yeah.
Because he's the commander-in-chief. He's the commander of the entire Imperial Navy. But it was. I also would like this to happen. I'd like for there to be a battle. You lose so many health points or whatever. Your figure would shift. You'd be weathered, you'd be bloody. Vader would probably have a few chips in his mask, and maybe, like in the Force Unleashed, he'd actually use the mask and the damage he got.
Yeah, that would be really awesome because in Battlefield they do a good job, of dynamic effects, affecting the battleground and all that stuff, and that would be really awesome to see, whether it's on spaceships or characters or any vehicles, all that kind of good stuff.
But it really would, and that's one thing that's what that lacked from Battlefronts 1 and 2, but that was also because the engine wasn't really that developed and whatnot. You could only get away with so much.
Yeah, and again, since the game was sold, it's like you mentioned, the engine, there were some limitations, but now, it seems like the possibilities are endless, and that's another question that I was thinking of. How do you think the engine, DICE's engine, is going to affect this game, like its possibilities and all that?
Well, I'd really honestly like to say that this would help improve it because, we've seen what Battlefield is capable of, and imagine that with the Star Wars game and whatnot. I really honestly hope, I'm hoping on this one because if I say anything, I know it's going to come back to haunt me, but I really honestly hope that DICE is able to convert Battlefield's engine over to Battlefront seamlessly with no problems. Like, say when the game gets released, there's going to probably be a couple of glitches. There always is. But I'd like for there to be no problems with the actual engine itself that's causing you to, say, lag or not be able to finish this one thing and whatnot. Because I've had that happen on a couple of games that I've tried. The engine was just so screwed up. Like, say, Knights of the Old Republic 2, for example. The game wasn't finished when it was first released, and the engine itself, the way the engine was at the time, you could not finish anything, really, that you had started a bit, because it was so adaptive that if you don't finish anything very good on it, you're just basically going to play around the whole playground with nothing else to do.
Yeah, and that's another thing is, lag compensation or anything like that, and I know that Battlefield doesn't have a big lag problem most of the time, so I'm really hoping that transfers into Battlefront, since it's made by the Frostbite engine and all that. Yeah. So moving on, the next question that I have is, if you had to choose one thing from previous Battlefronts, whether it's 1 or 2, what would you want to see either fixed or removed from them when the new game comes out?
Well, in all honesty, the fact that they managed to keep coming back a bit with everything almost fixed from Battlefronts 1 to 2, I would like to see this implemented, I should say. They did this in Elite Squadron and it worked perfectly with the game. I'd like for you to be able to take a ship from space, take an X-Wing, take a TIE Fighter, take anything, travel to the planet itself. There's no need to select a different map. Like, say, Battlefront 2, you had to select Space Kashyyyk and Kashyyyk at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And you could travel to the planet. I'd like for that to be implemented and a bit fixed, because it was also kind of a bit laggy and the sound would always get off a bit, but other than that it was perfect. One thing I would like removed from the Battlefront games, Oh darn it! I forgot because there was really nothing really I wanted to get removed. Like everything in there was good.
Oh yeah.
There was nothing I really wanted to get removed.
Well, the one thing that I would want removed, which you mentioned while we were talking about this heroes, is the health bar with the heroes. Now, I don't want to go too much into this discussion because it's, I'm pretty sure almost everyone agrees with us that shouldn't have really been in there. I mean, sure, heroes sometimes seem overpowered, but just to have their health drained down constantly was really stupid.
Oh yeah, and here's one thing. The one way you could make it stay is when everyone remembers this, when you killed the enemy, it caused the timer to go up, but the problem with that is you could kill so many rebel soldiers, and yet Vader would still leave because there's just not so much he can't do. He can only do so much at one time.
Oh yeah.
And then you've got and then if you killed your own troopers, your health would deplete. Like, it would actually go down. I found that out. You would actually go down faster than usual because you're killing your own soldiers.
Yeah, see, now the one thing that I always used when I was a Jedi or anything, Vader or whatever, was, I always used the throw lightsaber, because that was just way too overpowered.
It was. Like, the fact that you could, throw it, and you could get so many people in it when it was going out, and then when it came back, you could still get other people.
Yeah, also one thing that I noticed in the trailer at the beginning, the very beginning, is the Star Destroyer above Endor. Now that makes me think, since later on you do see the Y-Wings destroy the AT-AT, that makes me think that, sky to ground will be somewhat implemented. That really excites me because just that glimpse of that Imperial Star Destroyer above the planet and the Y-Wings later on, it just gives me hope that there's going to be space. I mean, not space. Aerial attacks.
Yeah, like they had in the original Battlefront one. That was it. There was no space. It was just sky to ground and whatnot.
Yeah. Again, all that stuff, of course. So, just so exciting.
It really is.
So, now moving on somewhat toward the end, what do you think we can expect in the upcoming months leading to the release? Because they've already announced a lot of details, at this Star Wars Celebration. I would really like to see more details on if there's going to be more planets, because honestly, just 4 planets at launch seems a bit, too little.
That's way too little.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping that, they come out with more info on all of that. And also, I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised that they're already revealing DLC, which seems a bit cheeky.
If they're kind of revealing DLC already, that kind of says something that I think they a little focus more on the graphics and the gameplay than actually kind of adding stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to say I already said it, but I don't want to commit to that because I know we're about maybe months away from release. But also, I think one thing I can really sure say, because if they really don't do this, DICE is probably not thinking straight. When we come up to the release, I guarantee you, because when we're coming up to the release of Battlefront, we're also getting closer to the release of The Force Awakens. Well, I guarantee there's probably going to be some really big announcements for the movie as well as the game regarding DLC and whatnot. Say, if you go see the movie or whatever, use this to unlock something nice in Battlefront or whatever, like they used to always do in commercials for Episode 3. Like, if you watch the Episode 3 trailer, there'd be a nice little code that you can use to unlock everything.
Oh, yeah. And another thing that I actually found interesting is whether they're going to be including different species in Star Wars, because I noticed in the trailer, there was a Solistan. That was the one with the rocket launcher and the jetpack. So I don't know if certain ones are going to be different classes. How there were Wookiees for the Rebels,
Wookiees, Bothans. There were no aliens for the Empire.
Oh, no.
No, think about it. The Rebels were the only ones with aliens.
Well, yeah, and it's also kind of surprising in The Force Awakens. They released the new names for the two sides, the Resistance and
Yeah.
the I forgot the other one for some reason. But yeah, the Resistance, is kind of interesting because we don't know what it's going to consist of.
I know, because they abolished the EU, and everyone that knows the EU always knows that the Empire is not fully vanquished, and yet you have the Galactic Alliance coming forth and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Oh, the New Order. That's what they are called. Now I remember. But it's going to be interesting to see how they integrate that into the new Battlefront because apparently there's going to be DLC. That features the Force Awakens stuff. But the Jakku, however you want to pronounce it, that map is set 1 year after Episode 6. So it's still the remnant Rebels and Empire left. So I don't know how they're going to implement the New Order. And
because if you remember correctly, this movie is supposed to take place, I think, if I remember correctly, 30 years after Episode 6. So
yeah.
The fact that they're making Jakku 1 year after 6 is like, why would you do that?
And that's another thing is Battlefront going to fill in the gaps between the movies, and maybe DLC or something, because there's a huge gap,
There really is in that. There really is a huge gap now, and the fact that I guess a lot of authors were probably crying when they found this out. They had set up such great content to fill in the gaps between episodes 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and especially 3 and 4. 4 and 5 was already probably filled much of the way, and 5 and 6 there really was nothing really to fill it, and 6 and beyond was it. There's going to have to be something completely new now.
Oh yeah, and I'd really like to see, again, since they haven't really announced any maps, but the Death Star. I mean,
oh yeah, they
final battle on the Death Star with Luke and Vader. To see that as like a co-op mission, but instead of co-op, it's versus. That would just be absolutely stunning.
That would be awesome to play in Battlefront because we haven't had that yet, honestly. Because Battlefront 2, everyone knows ends on Hoth, the Empire victorious. Battlefront 1 obviously ends on Endor.
Yeah, and so it's crazy to think of the possibilities that they can do, and considering that there's no campaign, you never know how it's going to be. And the thing that I'm thinking of, since they only have 4 planets, I'm guessing that they're going to have multiple battlegrounds on each one, because if they just have 4 maps in general, that
you have to have more than one battle.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit
take place. Like I would actually like to see, like, you have one battle on this side of Tatooine, another battle on the other side with one with the 2 suns out, and the other with the 3 moons out. I'd like to be able to travel from that to the others on the planet, like with a little cutscene showing you going and whatnot, and then you arrive and you can still continue the fight.
Yeah, I mean
that kind of strayed off a bit, but that was kind of cool.
Yeah, so out of all the planets that you've seen from the trailer, which one do you think by far is the coolest? Because in my opinion, I think Solus looks absolutely.
Solus looks awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that has honestly, that has the most potential to it because we never saw that in the movies. We only heard it mentioned, and everyone and the other Battlefront game just gave us a little glimpse of it. But Solus has the most potential to wow fans because it's even though it's not brand new to any game that we've seen, and it has endless possibilities of what could be in it. Like we could see maybe another Sarlacc or possibly even new creatures. Because I guarantee you the Solistans are not the only species native to Solist.
Yeah, exactly, and it kind of includes the possibility of maybe if there's ground battle, which I'm guarantee there's going to be because in the poster and the box art, it shows a couple of people on the ground. but running into the lava, it adds that effect to it if that's going to be in there. So I mean,
It really does. And honestly, I can tell you when I first saw the trailer, I'm thinking I saw the lava, and I'm like, man, they included Mustafar. And then I looked again, and it was clear. I'm like, nope, that ain't Mustafar.
yeah. Also, another thing that I know is I'm on the scene with Boba Fett right now in the trailer, and I noticed that there's people way far in the background and explosions almost to the mountains in the background, and a whole squadron of Y-wings flying by, and that squadron, that kind of gets me excited. Like, what if there's going to be, bots in the game, which I really hope there are to fill in gaps, but bots, flying around in squadrons, attacking all above you.
I really hope that that's true, because that would create for a really nice experience playing this game. Because, I mean, the whole community, and I guarantee you, all of us, if you haven't been waiting for this game, what rock have you been living under? But, like, when Battlefront 3, we all thought Battlefront 3 was going to be it, and then it got canceled, and we were all sad. And now that this game's coming out, whatnot, the possibilities that are present, like bots, like other squadrons besides yours.
Oh yeah.
This really, honestly, has the potential to be one of the greatest Star Wars games that ever existed.
And
next to Knights of the Old Republic.
And oh yeah, dude, guys, you don't want to get us started on Knights of the Old Republic, okay? Knights of the Old Republic 3 needs to come out. Let's just say that.
We'll have a separate discussion for that later.
Yeah. But another thing, I'm also on the Solus, like the planet right now. I'm looking at it, and I noticed. With the scene with the Millennium Falcon, there's a space shuttle, and then, there's a platform, but I have not seen any actual ground troops on it except for the box art. So that, I don't know if, like, this is a, aerial combat only, or if it's a combination, and then on a separate map there's, ground combat or whatnot.
I probably would have to say it's probably going to be both. Because on the box, well, I would say on the box because of the box art, but sometimes I've seen games where the box art does lie and it does not include the characters listed in it. But I'd have to say it's probably going to be both, because Solus has, like I've said, has so much potential, and the fact that we're getting another lava world besides Mustafar, and the fact that you can fight on Mustafar, there is you can fight on the ground on Mustafar, but I guarantee you probably it's going to be both, because you've got so many things that the Solus can do, and I think everyone wants to go in and see, like, oh, they've been able to do this and whatnot, versus just saying, oh, well, we can't go down there, but look at that.
Yeah, and also another thing about the whole Solus, and I have seen it on a mod in Battlefront 2, and that was the Dark Times 2. I'm actually doing a walkthrough on that right now. But that brings in another question, because what if there's no mods? Because since it's Frostbite, I doubt that there will be mods or anything like that, since, Frostbite dies.
And considering the fact that this is probably going to be mostly multiplayer, mods are probably going to die out for this thing. If you can mod this game and get it successfully working, praise, you are a god. But if this game is probably going to be so hard coded, because they've had such a long time to work on it and whatnot, that even probably one of the most elite programmers here would not. If you mess up the code like even one bit, like if you take any variable out, it would probably screw over the entire game, because it's not like the Odyssey engine or Battlefront 2's engine where it's adaptive. This one's hard coded where you can't really do anything, which sucks, but it's also good for the others that don't know what they're doing. They don't feel the temptation to screw it up.
Oh yeah. Also another thing, again with the modding, EA, they're just kind of, I don't know much about them, because they're so, elusive. It's going to be interesting to see how they implement the computer gamers, because personally I'll be playing on an Xbox One, since I'll
probably be like, after hearing you say that they're probably out of PC consoles already, I'm probably going to go and get it for my PS4, even though it sucks that you and I probably can't play multiplayer, even though I think I've heard of people joining servers from PlayStation 4 on the and the Xbox One, so that way they can play together. Don't quote me on that, but I have heard.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the possibilities, again, are endless since it's just new, and
it's going to take some time to sink in and let the community look at it. I mean, because I can tell you this right now, though. If I had a choice between letting EA work on this or LucasArts if it was still alive, I would say LucasArts work it, because LucasArts knew what the heck they were doing.
Oh yeah.
Even though they gave us the crap Force Unleashed 2, at least you could mod that game, you could mod it up, and they gave us kind of an awesome DLC thing. But don't forget, they also gave us the Force Unleashed, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, and of course the ever awesome Jedi Academy series. Not Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight series.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I'm just like, my mind is so scattered right now because I have so many things I want to talk about, but this video is getting quite long.
And we can only include so much at one time.
Oh yeah. The possibilities, like we've said before, they're endless, and it's just, I can't wait to see what they have to reveal in the next coming months, because May 4th is coming up, so hopefully they'll reveal something for that, because May the 4th be with you. Oh,
if they don't, there's something wrong with them. If they honestly don't reveal anything on May the 4th, there's got to be something wrong with them.
Oh yeah, and it was a shock to everyone that they released the Force Awakens trailer yesterday, because a couple weeks ago they heard news that
they only said they were going to release it for the Avengers too.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. Everyone thought that was going to come out when the Avengers came out. So that was, surprising. So you never know what kind of surprises they can hold. Yeah,
and then of course you also have what other stuff that the other games can do, like not other games, but the DICE itself can do so much with this game and whatnot that they could probably look at Force Awakens and probably give us like a little separate, maybe if demand is great enough for it, if there's no campaign. Well, there's already not going to be a campaign, but if demand is great enough for it, there probably could be a campaign coming in.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. So if you guys hear anything, it's my parents in the background. But yeah, okay. So now that that's over, now I can talk more. I don't know. I'm still hesitant about this game, but I'm so excited. I mean, that's why I just pre-ordered it a couple hours ago, and I fully played for the deluxe version. I'm really hoping that they include more in the deluxe version, because right now all there is the Jakku map, and also
Han Solo's blaster.
Yeah, and just several weapons. I mean, that's not really what we want from DLC. We want actual stuff that will change the game, you could say. But not, things that are too overpowered. Like, maybe you can start out, well, they do say that you get early access to the Jakku map. So, I mean, I love to see early access stuff like that, too.
Of course, my thing is, when I first saw that early access thing, part of me said, why does this sound like an MMO? Because when it comes to, say, the Old Republic, they always say, we're going to give you early access to this, and you watch it be all buggy and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. And of course, that's also another thing, because a couple of weeks ago, I want to say 2 weeks ago, they had people come and beta test their game in their 2 locations, I believe, in San Francisco and Sweden. So if they do things like that, or have a beta on, say, consoles or the PC or something, that would just be absolutely stunning.
If they do have a beta, we'll link it in the description, so that way you guys can go sign up for it if you can. Because I've seen a bunch of people, if it's for the PC version, they'll let they'll let PC console guys come in and from wherever you are, they'll send you a crack for the game, and they will let you beta test it for them.
Oh yeah, and that's just so exciting, because I really hope that they do release a beta, because I just cannot wait to get my hands on this game.
That'd be really awesome if they did.
I don't know how to describe. I mean, some people out there may seem, oh, why are you guys so excited? It's just a game. But no, it's been 10 years since the last one came out, as we mentioned at the beginning of the video. That, I mean, that's ridiculously long to wait for another game. I mean, I know that Half-Life 3, for example, everyone wants that, but it's the developers already said that it's not going to come out. So thankfully that wasn't the case with Battlefront, because I believe Battlefront 3 was
it was planned and it was going in development and then it was canceled.
Yeah, and so
kind of like 1313. Anyone remember that
13.
game?
You know, I'm really hoping that they reveal that at the Star Wars Celebration, because Visceral Games will be there, and I believe they were working on 1313. So, you know, if they announce that too, I would just be stoked, because I believe the game was supposed to be rated M, which you never see in a Star Wars game. So
it was supposed to be about Boba Fett too, like going into the underworld, of course, and seeing the stuff that we never see. So,
oh yeah,
if 1313 was going to get released, I really hope it is now, with the positive feedback that Battlefront is getting and whatnot. It's going to ask a whole bunch of game companies to come forward and say, you know, let's make a Star Wars game and whatnot. Like, maybe we could get a Knights of the Old Republic 3, guys. Maybe we could see a Force Unleashed 3, God willing, because the second one left on cliffhanger.
Yeah, and you know, that's the thing. You know, now that Disney owns Lucasfilm and LucasArts and all that.
Remember LucasArts is shut down.
Oh yeah. My bad.
Let's say Electronic Arts now does the Star Wars games.
And you know, that's also another interesting thing, is because their page is EA Star Wars, and the description is like, here's all the Star Wars games that we have, and right now it only shows Battlefront. So that makes me think they've got to be working on other things too, if they say this is where we host all of the Star Wars games. So
yeah, and maybe if we're lucky, what we could really do, honestly, is you guys could share this video on your Facebook page, anywhere, and we could help raise awareness for our Star Wars games and send maybe a message to EA saying that you guys could try this or whatnot. Maybe we could get EA in touch with Obsidian and get a new Knights of the Old Republic 3. Yes, Obsidian, not BioWare. We saw what happened.
But we will save the Knights of the Old Republic 3 discussion. I really want to make that video, so we could do that sometime soon. And I mean, that could have a huge discussion, because I don't know if you guys know, but we both make mods for Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. So just having Knights of the Old Republic 3 would just be absolutely
it would be awesome.
amazing.
Because they have to include the original Odyssey engine. If not, it's not going to be. If they don't include the Odyssey engine in it, it's not going to be a real Knights of the Republic game. So, one thing I have to share, guys, since we were discussing the games, Knights of the Old Republic 3 was in production with Obsidian. There's artwork released for it.
Yeah.
If you check on Knights of the Republic on Wikipedia, it will show a Knights of the Old Republic 3 little stubble of a page, but it was in development, and we almost had it. And we may get it again. Who knows?
And you know, again, it's a shame, because when LucasArts shut down so many Star Wars projects, you know, that just made everyone cry a little inside. But now, you know, there's hope, since EA is making Battlefront, and I mean, it could go anywhere.
It really could, because this is basically their. I don't necessarily say that the Old Republic is part of it, because that was also in development by BioWare. It was more of a BioWare thing before they got taken over by EA. EA just took over right as the game was coming out, so this is really EA's first Star Wars game, in my opinion, so we got to give them a chance and whatnot. And if demand is great enough, we could possibly see more projects in the future.
And you know, that leads into, again, the sequels, but we don't want to get into, like I said, sequels.
Yeah, that's a hornet's nest I really don't want to go poking around.
Alright, well, guys, this video, like I said before, it's at 54 minutes right now. I mean, this was a lot longer than we planned on going, but hey, we got...
It really was. We were probably going to plan to go 30 minutes, but, well, time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, yeah, and, you know, guys, if you want us to do more videos like these, we'll be glad to, because I honestly love doing this. I've never done a dual commentary, I guess you could call it, before.
I've never actually really done a commentary before. I'm actually going to restart my walkthroughs of Kodar and whatnot. I'm going to try and redo my Demolition video, so if you guys want to see some more Star Wars Demolition, I'll be hooking those up real quick with my old PlayStation 1 that I still have. And if We'll also leave in our descriptions, we'll leave links to our Deadly Stream accounts that have all our mods. And we'll also leave a link to the Deadly Stream forums, so that way you guys can check out all the stuff that we have for... the quote is home of Star Wars gaming. It's mostly Knights of the Old Republic, but it's also got some extra hubs for, like, say, Jedi Knight and Battlefront's regular discussion and whatnot. It's a nice little community.
And also,
you guys should check it out.
Lucas Forum, they have, things for All Stars games, and
they really do. It's huge.
And for the mods that we show in this video for Battlefront 2, I will link those down. We'll both link those down to Game Toast. They have, a ton of mods. There's also Battlefront, but Battlefront is really broken.
You want to get the old mods from Battlefront, not the new ones. The new ones you have to keep refreshing the page, and sometimes they just don't refresh quick enough.
Exactly. So, guys, I'm sorry, but that's going to conclude our video. It was great fun doing this, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Again,
hope to hear from you guys. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and we'll see what we can do if you don't have any suggestions for us on our next video.
Yeah. So, again, that concludes the video. Thank you guys for watching.
May the Force be with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
See ya.